Welcome to Legacy by Design podcast, where we don't just talk about success, we design it on purpose.
Welcome back to Legacy by Design. This is episode 3. I am pleased to announce that on this episode, at the end, please stand by. We're going to have an interview with Minos Azajares, a artist, philosopher, businessman, entrepreneur, and all-around genius, in my opinion. Good man. We need more people like him. Hopefully you'll enjoy the interview as much as I did. But before we get to that, I wanted to do, with this New Year's coming up, I wanted to do a quick idea for you, a brief technique or tool that you can use for goal setting. Many of you have probably heard my theory. I don't believe in resolutions. I think that resolutions are a statement that we can put down, but it gives it no significance for us. It's very easy to ignore a resolution. If you put down a goal, it's more of a commitment. And then if you build a system to back up that goal, it's even better. And I liken that to a phrase by James Clear. He wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And in that book, he says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system. I'll read that one more time. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. My elite coaching program is a system. It's a system designed to maximize your clarity, your motivation, and your purpose. To use all of the things that make you who you are, to make it better and easier and more efficient for you to do the things you were called to do. And I'll get into that more and how that system came about in future episodes. But for today, let's just talk about goals. Everybody around this time starts to set goals and resolutions, and we have very high aspirations. With that, we tend to start out strong and then kind of wane down throughout the year. Here's an idea, or here's a way that you can use for goals throughout the year, no matter what time it is, because it's never too late for a new goal. I love that quote. It's never too late for a new goal. So here are my 3 simple steps, simple rules, whichever you want to use for goal setting. Rule number 1 is make it measurable. So treat it just like it's an experiment. Tim Ferriss is one of my favorite authors, and he wrote a book called The 4-Hour Body. And one of the things I really love to model after Timothy Ferriss is the fact that when he does things, he gathers data. He researches it. He experiments on himself. He uses himself as a guinea pig to optimize performance, as he says. In that vein, make it measurable so that you can gather data about how you're doing, whether you're being successful, so you know what you're looking for. And better yet, even when I say make it measurable, use very clear language in what your goal is. For example, if your goal is to lose weight, be specific about the amount of weight. Even better yet, be specific about where you want to be on that weight journey. What do I mean by that? I mean, instead of saying I want to lose 20 pounds, say I want to be 200 pounds. The difference is your brain will do and give you reasons to accept the minimum if that's what you tell it. You can lose 20 pounds and gain it back and still have accomplished that goal, but not have accomplished the intent behind that goal, which was to be healthier, to be lighter, to be more agile maybe. Think about that. Be clear on the wording that you use. If it's losing weight, give yourself a specific weight you want to be at. First rule is make it measurable. Second rule, after make it measurable, is make it meaningful. And meaningful is an individual thing. If being healthier, I mentioned before, if that target weight that you want to be at is so that you could be healthier, so that you can not be out of breath, so that you could have more time, more energy to spend with your family and your kids, to play more games with them, to be more fun, and to not have any of the medical issues that you have, to feel as though you were 10 years younger. Those are meaningful things. Those are meaningful reasons to assign to that goal. And the more meaningful the goal is, the more likely that you will attain that goal. And that comes with everything. If your goal is to write more, why is that meaningful? If that's your purpose, if you're a writer and you have these stories inside you that you want to share with the world so that they can feel how you felt when you created these characters, and they can learn things and they can grow, that's meaningful. You're much more likely to write those 10 pages or 3,000 words if that's the meaning behind it. And the third simple rule is make a move. Make a move means do something. Make a plan and work the plan. Back to our example of losing 20 pounds. If we know that exercise is one of the things that we like to use, if that's one of our vehicles, then we plan to exercise. During our lunch hour, we'll take a walk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. After work, we'll go to the gym for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I'm even good if you break that goal down into smaller chunks. One of my favorite sayings when I get overwhelmed or people get overwhelmed is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Instead of looking at this enormous goal of writing a book or starting a budget, buying a house, make it small and manageable. Make it small. Go to the gym 3 days a week and move around for a half an hour. Give yourself successes. Set yourself up to win. Because nowhere in that goal does it say you actually have to exercise. You just have to go to the gym. Now, if you exercise during that phase of this plan, that's a bonus. The next step to that might be go to the gym, be at the gym for 30 minutes, exercise for 10 minutes. Now you've upped it to another level. You're going to go to the gym, you're going to exercise for 10 minutes, you're going to be there for 30 minutes. You might exercise for 15 minutes, figuring I'm going to be here another 20 minutes anyway. It's a win. Break your goals down to measurable, smaller pieces, and then build up to the final one. 3 simple rules for setting goals. Make it measurable, gather the data so that you can use it later. Make it meaningful. Why is this even a goal for you? Why is it important? And then make a move. Do something that will get you moving towards that goal. Those are my 3 simple rules. I just wanted to give you a little bonus right here before New Year's. And I'm going to go right into the interview because the interview went really well. We got to talking, and you know how old friends are. You get to talking, and next thing you know, it's been 30 minutes. We're going to go into that. I'll let you hear about Mr. Azajares. Let him talk to you and talk about his travels. And I hope that it's as inspiring to you as it was to me. Thank you for being here. Stand by. After this break, we'll be right back with our interview. to start off, can you introduce yourself? Just tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then we'll get to where you are because I think that's a cool part of the story too.
Okay, okay. Yeah, my name is Minos Azajares. I'm an artist painter, and I'm a Cuban American, and I live in Costa Rica now. So yeah, this is my fourth country when I live already. So
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got to Costa Rica? Because that is from Cuba to the U.S. to Costa Rica. Those are a couple of big
no,
jumps.
yeah. Well, first I jumped from Cuba to Spain. Yeah, I jumped first from Cuba to Spain, and then from Spain to the U.S., from the U.S. to Costa Rica. So my wife and I so have like last 18 years thinking about a move here. The project we are working on it right now in Costa Rica for Blue Gaia, so you've been here, was the whole idea about all this, taking 18 years, to come and finally move here, cost a lot of money and, a lot of, yeah, just take a long decision. We back and forth a lot of time here, but Costa Rica is not a cheap country, so we had to do a lot of things before we can move. You know what I mean? So yeah, but was good.
Legacy by Design would like to thank our sponsor, Peace Pack. Peace Pack is dedicated to forming a more perfect union through transformative action that bridges divides and builds stronger communities across America. Peace Pack believes that meaningful change happens when citizens come together with shared purpose, innovative solutions, and unwavering commitment to democratic ideals. If you'd like to learn more about Peace Pack, go to peacepack.com. That's PIECEPAC.com. So now, have you always been an artist, or has that just been your
Uh,
passion and you moved
yeah,
into it?
was I have my art. The art was with me from was a child. So I take a little classes, not too much when I was, I don't know, when I was like a 6 or 7 years old with my teacher. And, from there, I always have it with me, but I don't do it like, professional for a long time because I had to do other things, you know what I mean? So worry about money,
Right.
In my
Yes.
case, like I was like a little bit hard because, you in Cuba, finding things for doing what you want is really difficult. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And so managed to keep doing it even from Cuba to Spain to the U.S. Now, you said you had to do some other things. What are the other things you did? Where did
a
your
lot,
work?
a lot, my brother, a lot, a lot. So I always make a business. Okay, that's one of the things because I remember when I was a child. So I have like 11 or 12 years old. I making my first business. I was in school. My parents they don't have enough money for do anything. You know what I mean? So discovered at that time I had to take care of myself. You know what I mean? So I learned, and so I remember there is some kids coming from Africa, the international students, and they are in Cuba in the college, and I go to the college. I buy wallets at that time from them. I remember these have like colors,
Mhm.
and I sell it to my friend in school. So from there, I started to make some money. So from there to now, I never stopped to make a business. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
always, working hard to try to learn something. You know what I mean? So yeah,
All right. So always been an entrepreneur, meaning
yeah,
making
always,
your
always,
way out of whatever
yeah,
you needed to do.
always, yeah,
So you
always.
started a business in Cuba, you had a business in Spain, had a
In
business in
Spain,
the
in
US.
the US, yes, in the US, yeah. So yeah, because there is something happen to when you know you want, I don't know, make a business whatever. So the first time you try, if you coming from yourself, you're not gonna stop it again. It's difficult. Some people are stop it, but in my case, because I learned so early, or like at 12 years old, you know what I mean? I had no choice. I had to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I got a lot of lessons for that, you know what I mean? So right now, my prospect for, 51 years old I have already. So I learned a lot, and I'm sure, it was my best decision to do business, you know what I mean? Because you learn a lot, not just in the business, in the life, because you always needed to be, trying to find something to learn, you know what I mean? So you have to be active all the time, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And learned as you go how to do it and what businesses that would allow you to take care of your family. So how did you keep yourself motivated to keep doing that? Was it just didn't have a choice, had to do it, or how
Yeah.
did you do that?
Well, one of the best things I learned, in Cuba, for example, okay, the problem we have, for example, in the United States or in Europe, these kind of countries, so you have a lot of choices for make a business. So you can have a restaurant, you can have so I don't know, whatever kind of company you want, you can have freedom. In Cuba, that is really difficult. So the only way I discover I can be successful in Cuba is because I have the business I made at that time. So I have a lot to fail. You can imagine, because you can have a problem, like a police, with the government, with the inspector, it's so crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but if you keep going, I learned that if you keep going, sometimes you can make it. You know what I mean? Because they are tired, but you're not. you can you can be a
Right.
tired. You have to do what you have to do, and that kicked me out to Spain. I mean, thanks to that business, so I can grow up. I get out from Cuba to Spain. And then so was a little bit different. Yeah, but
No, I'm saying you learn as you go.
I try to read books. I try to, and for me, I remember from when I was a child, I like, for example, learn about spirituality. My mom, she was really good on that. She teach me a lot of things in that. And for me, it was really good get out from Cuba because I can find things you don't want to find in Cuba, books, information. And when I moved to the United States, it was better, even better, because in the United States, there is more book than in Europe or in Spain, in this case. That spirituality was with me all the time, you know what I mean? So I all the time try to discover, new books, new information, and for me, it was the best thing I can do because I know I never been in the church in Cuba. There is no like a culture for that. The government almost take it out all that. You've inspired spirituality. You had to, I don't know. You had to train yourself. You know what I mean? So we have in Cuba like orishas, which is it's a Afro-Cuban, religion. So it's something makes it so weird, and black magic, something like that. I never liked that, you know what I mean? So my mom always told me there is a God there, so He can see everything you do. Just try to do your best always. And I learned that, and I always try to apply in my business, in my life, with my kids. You know what I mean? So now I'm so happy because like I'm learning so fast right now, and I think it's because I have more time, or I don't know, maybe because I'm a little bit more old, or maybe or I'm more focused. But yeah, there is some time where you can open your mind and information coming through you without filter or whatever it is. Yeah.
And so all of those experiences you continue to learn as you went, and now it's kind of like now you can use all of that information in your new projects, in your new art and business projects. And have you seen those coming together as you've gotten older?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Because just look, so I just for tell you a little bit, I make it, for example, in Cuba, my first business after I, get out from the college, I started to, selling products from the, farmer product, what I mean, fruit, vegetable, those kind of things. So I learned a lot. That's make it, that's helped me to make a lot of money and get out from there. Building my house, those kind of things in Cuba. So when I get out, so I moved to Spain. I opened their construction company. So I've been there for, I don't know, until 2008 when it came in the crash from the real estate business. You remember? So at that time I was in Spain, so I have a lot of debt with business because at that time everything was with check and credit. So the bank don't pay me. I don't. It was so crazy, but I learned a lot, and finally, I pay everything. Everything was good, but it was good. But I just closed the company and I started other business. At that time, I met my wife, and we started at that time, 2008. We opened another business. It was clothing business. She had a lot of experience in business, clothing business with her dad, and we started from there too. So I moved with this business to Los Angeles. We've been in downtown LA for 2 3 years. Spend a lot of money in rent, crazy learning in English a little bit. But yeah, it was good. And after that, I opened a business for truck drivers. So I buy a truck, I buy a trailer, and I'm running around the US. Was really crazy. But all the time I was, back and forth with my art, always painting when I have time, you know what I mean? But nothing professional at that time because it was difficult for me. I had no time. I had my kids, so I had to, provide money for the house, So, so you had to do what you had to do. So, but at the end of the day, all that, appear in my life with really good background. I can do whatever I want. I had no problem to do anything. Zero, whatever I decide to do. I don't have to call nobody. Plumber, electricity, drive a truck. I don't know. It's crazy that you can imagine.
Right.
Yeah. So what's good? Yeah. So you never imagined this gonna happen because, right now thinking in God perspective, you think it's okay, my goodness, what I have to do, all those kind of things. So, but I learned right now, he preparing me for now. You know what I mean? Yes. Everything I do before, I did before, he prepared me for now. So, which is for me now is perfect because I have a lot of experience. I know, I don't know, even for example, all the things regarding to when you export products from one country to the other country. But we made a clothing at that time in Italy and we sent it to the United States. What we sell is Italy clothing. So we made it in Italy, so we send it to the United States. So, you learn a lot from ship, the container, truck, yeah. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot. So what's good? So because in all those things, sorry I interrupt you, because all those things, coming to me in all those times, my wife was with me all this time. She's my partner and all those things. She coming with me, supporting me, So we finally, when we decide move here, I told her, we good. We are ready. Let's go. You know what I mean? Because I think if at that time, if I moved from Cuba to Costa Rica directly, which it was possible, but for me, I don't want to do at that time. I can be like I am right now. You know what I mean? So I'm so ready. Yeah. So
and I think that's amazing. The transition from all the different jobs, from the selling the wallets to getting the trucking company to being the construction guy and all those things. You think, well, you're doing it because you have to, but now you get to Costa Rica and it's like, oh, okay, I can use all of those things now. And now I can use them for me and my projects and the things that I want to
Yeah.
leave to my
Yeah.
kids and to for
Yeah.
generations to come,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
that's a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah. It's really good because it's not a possible you can see it before. You know what I mean? You thinking, that the good thing about this is when you see all the movement you make it, or the, back and forth or up and down. So
Right.
you don't want to see at that time. But there is
Right.
some people say it is God is now breaking you. It's preparation. He preparing you
Right.
for right.
Right.
So
That's exactly
so
what it is.
yeah.
And just speaking from experience and from the time that I got to meet you and on your land, the energy and the the love you have for that land and that project is evident in just
Yeah.
seeing the glow on your face when you're walking around and talking about
Yeah.
this part and that part. And that is the goal, I think, that all of us want to get to at some point, is seeing all of our work come to a place where now it makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
now I can see going forward what
Yeah.
all that stuff
Yeah.
in the back was for.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It is. It
Yeah.
is. Is just a little bit, I don't know, a story about my wife.
Mhm.
When I met her, she said, because she coming from the background, she enfermera. I don't remember her name.
But you can say it
Uh,
in Spanish, they'll translate it.
yeah, enfermera. She was in the enfermera for the
Okay.
and oh yeah. So she want to do that because she at that time she wanna open like a hospital for kids, those kind of things. And
Right.
she said she wrote a letter before she met me. She wrote a letter. She said, "I want a person like this, like this, like this, like this." She make a letter and send it to God. Crazy. And,
Wow.
and I appear in her life. She told me, "You the guy." I say, "Okay, if you say so." So it's crazy
That's
because
beautiful.
all we did in this time, you can put it together and you can see right now and say, "Oh my goodness, crazy how everything is can be connected." You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
amazing. So amazing.
Mhm. As they say, God is good all the time. He knows what he's doing.
Always, always. The hard part is for us to understand. Yeah, I discovered just a few days ago how, because in the church, in the books, said God is love. Is
Mhm.
is I don't know. He don't like you. It's just love.
Right.
You know, it's hard for the people sometimes to understand. What is mean, what it means. So, I discovered a few days ago. Let me tell you, because yeah, I read a lot of book, and always they said, oh, sometimes they said, so when something bad happened to you, God is preparing you. Just keep positive mind, and doing good things, because if you continue that way, He can give you something better than that you want before.
Right.
But normally, when you have some problem, condition in your life, you don't think like that. How you gonna
No.
think that your parent died? It's gonna be good for you. You know what I mean? So,
Right. You're thinking,
so
why is this happening to me? What did I do?
yeah, so yeah, and then I it's take a time for me, a long time to learn that, and try to discover, and then one day it's like oh my goodness, that's crazy, because you can even manipulate the I don't know, the matter, in order to you feel better, or something what you want coming through you. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's crazy. I don't know. My wife told me
Makes sense.
sometimes, yeah, my wife told me sometimes, you little bit crazy. I say, okay, leave me alone. I have a long time practicing this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, you're an artist. We as artists, we got to be a little bit crazy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what
That's one of the
creatives
things.
do.
I've been in LA. I think it was this year, and I have an LA art show, and I present my collections for I call it Pura Vida, pure
Okay.
life, like
True
in
life.
Costa Rica. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
So like 15 years ago, I think for me, and the universe is like a barcode. So I have
Mm.
that idea. So I told my wife, you know what? I think the universe is like a barcode. Everything is information. So every bar means a number with information. I been with that for last 15 years. So and I don't find how integrate that in my art.
Mhm.
So last year when I moved first time to Costa Rica, so I discovered like a few years ago some lab they find that everything alive have a chromosomes like
Mm.
we have
Yeah.
chromosomes. So yeah, but I know we have chromosomes, but not everything. Plants, animals, fruit, everything. So that have some numbers. You have for the human beings, you have 24 chromosomes. Okay, so at that time, I discovered I can integrate those number in my barcode, and for me, it was like a crazy because I say, my goodness, I was all right. So that's the way I can connect to this, because everything there is, I have a long list about chromosomes, plants, animals, fruit.
And you've incorporated that into your artwork.
Yeah, because the idea for that was the genetic manipulation of the we have in the fruit, vegetable, those kind of things.
Right.
So back and forth when I was in LA this year, so the people are asking, "Hey, what is the number? What does it mean? This number? What is it for?" I explained it. Oh, it's a chromosome. They told me you are a scientist or something like that. I said, no, I'm just a crazy guy.
I'm just
Because
an
nobody,
artist.
yeah, I'm just honest. The normal people, they don't worry about this. I mean, in my case, it's very important because I'm so worried about all those things around me. You know what I mean? For me, it's
Right.
really important to understand everything. I don't know. I need to be, go deep in, to try to discover something. I try
Right.
to
And
investigate most I can all the time because I feel it's like I never stop to try to learn something.
it's
Yeah,
that curiosity. And I think that
yeah,
curiosity is not only what makes you a good entrepreneur, but it's what makes you a good artist and a good human being because that level of curiosity, that wanting to know, always leads to the inevitable part that we're all connected, which is the
yeah.
part that always gets forgotten. And not only are we connected, but we're connected to everything else too.
So
And
everything, yeah,
and that allows a whole different perspective on things and makes what you do even more important because just like they asked you the question about the DNA or the genetics of uh, manipulated vegetables or fruits, now that opens the discussion to go, okay, what impact is it having on us if we're manipulating fruits and then we're
yeah,
consuming it and putting it into our bodies?
yeah,
And and that is a whole nother level of awareness that you're providing to people that you wouldn't even think of going to an art
yeah. And
show,
then
right?
yeah, of course not. And even right now, from what I know, our body is a vibration. So I discovered like finding it like when you have it, you aha, what I mean, that
Yeah,
moment. So I
yeah,
have it my aha moment. And yeah, so I discovered I was right because if you manipulate some kind of fruit or whatever you eat, you put in your body.
right,
So the vibration you have in your body is not the same. So and if
right.
you go really deep level, so you have to be really conscious about how you treat you treat the I don't know the food you're gonna eat. You
Yes,
know what I mean? So
yeah,
because those kind of things, because it's vibration coming through your body when you eat it with bad things or bad decision about it, it's affected your body and it's affected your life. Like
Right. It matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's,
That's amazing. And one of the things I also wanted to have you talk about a little bit is, if you want, just kind of share your, I don't know if it's the project, but your purpose, your idea of what you want to do, not just with the land, but with in general going forward. Because I know you're very
okay.
passionate about it.
Yeah.
You and
Yeah.
your wife. And tell your wife I said
Yeah.
hi, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's around at those side. Yeah. So we, because we saw this kind of problem we have in our society, in the US, in Europe too. That's one of the reason. Because at the beginning, my wife wanted to put it a place, but she loved, bring kids to the alive, or the, pregnant women, those kind of things. So
Right.
but then so we started, so okay, when we buy the land and we see, okay, we have enough space, we can do what we want together here. We can do it at school. Because she was like, I said before, therapist for kids with autism. So
Okay.
yeah, so to say, okay, if we want to do something good, we had to not just put it a place for the mom can bring the kids to this world. Just they needed good school for they can learn from the earth, interact with nature, thinking better. Things
Right.
you don't learn in the normal school. School is just two plus two and that's it. You know what I mean? So no these kind of things
Right.
you want to learn. So and then
Right.
we said, okay, yeah, this is very really good idea. If we get all these things, we can create it like a bubble where
I like it. Yeah.
the new generation can born and live and stay, and that's align everything, with us. You know what I mean? It's so
Right.
amazing because, and for example, in my art, it's not everybody can understand. I know that, but I don't
Right.
care. It's not on my problem. I do what I had to do because God told me at some time you had to do this. It's coming through my mind. And let me tell you this, I
Yeah.
can do anything different that I can. So I can put a camera in front of me. I had no choice to painting something with messages. For me, it's really important to have a message always. So I told my wife, you know what? So that is my art, and the Blue Gaia community is everything is the same. You know what I mean? So no,
Just to have a
doesn't matter.
message.
Yeah. So it had to
Right.
be, it's like a book with everything inside. You know what I mean? So for
Right.
me, it's just perfect, just
Yeah.
perfect.
And I loved the time that I had to interact with you guys and to learn about your goal and your mission, because it is something it's one of those things that's obvious, but nobody does.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it makes sense. And I think
Yeah.
your wife told the story once that it always sticks with me. Is she was talking about how we teach kids, but we don't listen to the kids, and sometimes they have very good questions. And
Yeah.
she was saying that I think it was one of your kids had asked her, after you guys were taking them to the school and you're going to show them which teacher they had, and he said, "Well, how come I can't pick my teacher?" And your
Oh
wife was
yeah.
like, "That's a great question. When we have our school, guess what? You'll get to pick your teacher." And to me,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that you're like, you know what? That's a good point. Why don't they get to
It
find
is a good
somebody who
point
they
because
sync with, they connect with, that teaches to their style? That should be part of it.
okay, for example, in my case, I remember my school was disaster at that time. I remember when I was a child, I had no kind of experience, like a good experience with my teacher. Maybe it's one or two, maybe in all time. But I remember one teacher who teach me about art at that time. I was 6 or 7 years old at that time. I connected with him like 2 years ago. I found that his phone. I found a guy. I put in his name to see if I find him on Facebook.
Uh,
And it was crazy because his son, he living in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. He have his same name to his father. And I connected with him and say, I'm looking for the guy with your same name. He said, no, it's my dad. I said, what?
wow.
Yeah. Because I've always remind him, I mean, it was really good teacher. He teaching me a lot of good things, a lot. So just imagine if you have a teacher like that in the school, how can you change the life of the kids? You know what I mean? So it's crazy because they don't gonna go forget at any time because they want to love go to school. Those kind of teachers you want to see him every single day because it's they can I don't know tell you a lot of experience you can imagine the school and that's the idea we have. We had to be different. Had to be
Right.
different.
Well,
Yeah.
I applaud you guys, and I think that is something that's going to be very powerful. Not if it happens, but when it happens, because I'm believing these things are going to happen. It's
Yeah,
just a matter of
it's
time.
just it's just a time.
Yeah.
One of the things talking about God because I like it talking about God, even when I'm not being in the church. So I discovered something. So you know, like I explained you before, in Cuba we have the practice normally the people use is Afro-Cuban religion. Okay,
Mhm.
so when the people have a problem, they go to see somebody who have a that kind of experience. They do whatever they do. Okay,
Yeah.
so but everything, if what I discovered was so everything is about spirituality. Whatever you do in your life before coming in a thought in your brain. So and then you execute. So in perspective about our projects right now, for me is already it is. You know what I mean? Is in the universe already done. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yes,
taking time to
understood.
come into collapse with the with this.
To coincide with our time
Yeah,
right now. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
No, no, I like that. Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Uh,
And that's because we want. It's because it is, and then because it's beautiful. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's something we need in this world today.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was already it'll come to pass because it's meant to be. All right. Well, thanks for sitting down with me for giving me some insight on your project and your life. And one of the things I want to make sure is tell people where they can find your artwork because I'm sure they're curious of what that
Okay.
looks like
Yeah.
because I think
I
is
appreciate
I
it.
think it's awesome. I've seen several of your paintings and your artwork, and I love it.
Yeah.
Um,
I doing. I just want to start it. I don't know, maybe tomorrow with the matter. It's huge canvas. It's like I don't know, 3 or 4 square meters for like a 2.5. It's huge. It's from the ground to the floor, and it's huge because that is the one of the things I can connect it. My life right now. Like I feel that I need it. So and nobody before paying the matters. So I say, okay, this is my time right now. I have to do that. You know what I mean? Because for
right.
me, it's like it's bring me to the moment I live in. The artists normally they paint in basins. I don't know everybody, but most of them they paint in base in the feeling they have, the moment they have in their life. If you
Right.
see the whole perspective for a painter, you can see the different moment he have in his life because all the time
Uh-huh.
reflect him. You know what I mean?
In the paint.
So
Right.
yeah, so that's happened to me. So I'm going like a little bit crazy now, right now, for the season, but I love it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's awesome. That is
Yeah,
an artist. That's an artist's journey, and I love it. That's the way it's supposed to be.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate it. So yeah, man. So we're here. So thank you for your time, for the opportunity to show. Allow me to show in and do I don't know, in your channel with you, conversation with your friends. I love it.